Are you coming to the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge? If so, this video is for you. I'll do a walking tour. I'll take you inside some of the restaurants. I'll even show you a room. I'll tell you the good, but I'll also tell you the bad right after this. Welcome to the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. If you're new to this channel, my name is Sean, and my wife Kat and I for the past 15 years have been traveling all over the world. And recently we've been posting our adventures to YouTube. We post long-form travel videos, 360-degree experiential videos, in-depth videos, and tour videos like this one. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. When you first arrive or get dropped off, you will be standing in front of the main lodge. Upon entering, guest relations is off on your right-hand side. If you're doing this as part of a Princess Cruise Line package, you will already have your room keys and everything else, so there's actually no need to visit guest relations. If not, if you're just doing this independently, that's where you would check in to get your room keys. Off to the left-hand side here is where the bellhop is. There is typically never anyone in there. You have to go over to guest relations to get a bellhop, and then they'll meet you over at that door. For most people that are doing this as part of, again, the Princess Cruise Lines package, you will probably leave several hours after you have to check out of your room, which means you're going to need to use the bellhop. Coming downstairs, this is where the espresso bar is, the River Run Espresso. This is where we got our coffee in the morning, and they have other things like little snacks, just like a Starbucks. And this is also the general store down on this level. The general store has a bunch of just touristy knickknacks and candy and water and t-shirts. One thing they did have that was amazing was they had these jackets, which you can see right there on that rack, that were insanely cheap. Kat actually bought one, and I couldn't believe how inexpensive it is. Over in the back here, there is a topographical sculpture map of the Denali Park, and all the various mountains and paths and so on are labeled, and the big huge white thing that's sticking out, the mountain, that is Denali. One thing that's nice about this section is there's really never anyone that sits back in there, so if you have some time to kill and need a place to sit, it's a perfect place to do that. Let's head outside, but before we do that, let's take a look at the map. There are 3 areas that you can stay in when you are here: Grizzly Meadow, Wolf Den, and Caribu Ridge, and we will walk around all 3 of those in a second. Kat and I happened to be staying in Grizzly Meadow when we shot this, specifically in Building R. So when you see our room, that is the building that we were in when we filmed the room tour. In addition, the blue buildings are all the restaurants, the shops, and administrative things like guest services. The building that I'm circling now is the main lodge that we just walked through, and let's go take a look at our room. All the walking paths between the buildings were very well maintained, and so were the gardens. The water that you see on the ground was also not an issue. Every day that we were there, it rained, and we never had a problem with having to walk through big puddles or anything like that. So the drainage was very good as well. We arrived during the time that they cleaned the rooms, so as you saw in the building on the left-hand side, there were people with their carts cleaning the rooms, and as you'll see in a second, they are cleaning our building when we arrived as well. This is our building, and as I said before, we were on the second story and pretty much all the way at the end. Well, we made it to the Denali Princess Lodge. Woo! And it looks like a lodge. It's very cute though. Entryway, bathrooms right around there, which I'll show you in a second. Over here is the sink. This is where we brush our teeth because there's no sink in the bathroom. Got a place to hang our stuff, got a fan because it was 1,000 degrees in our room last night. Different place, however. Over here we have the TV. All right, and over here we have our window, and it looks out over buildings, but we have mountains. These gorgeous mountains off in the distance. The bed looks pretty nice. Oh, this is Mount Healy. It's 5,059 feet tall, right outside of our window. And we do have a television. All right, let's go take a look at the bathroom. And this is the bathroom. It's gonna be loud. So we have our toilet, and the shower's not bad, and I like this. No more of those stupid little bars of soap and little shampoo things, so it's pretty nice. Let's go take a look at that mountain. And here it is. You can't really see because of the lighting. Let's see. Now that we've seen the room, let's start walking around. We're leaving the main lodge where we left before, and this is the first of several locally run shops that are in this area. This is the Milepost, which is a Christmas shop. They sell ornaments and basically anything Christmas related. After that, you will come to the Cash Cabin. This is one of the stores that is very typical for this area. It sells basically your Alaskan goods and a lot of moose heads and so on that are carved out of wood. So there's lots of furry things, also lots of knives. That's very popular in these stores. Are knives that are made out of scrap metal. The interesting thing is most of these knives are cheaper than the moose head carvings or these little statues that you see here. The next store we come to is the Fox Creek Studio. Again, more knives and several different things that were locally made. Some different bones from different animals, but basically locally made items. There are lodge shuttles that go back and forth around this complex, but it's not a difficult walk, and I can't see taking one of those. Next is the ice box. The ice box is pretty much the same as the last two. They sell lots of wooden carvings and t-shirts and so on. However, I didn't actually put them in the video because I didn't know if that would be an issue or not, but there were a lot of socks that had incredibly humorous sayings on them. But as you can see, lots of things carved out of wood, wooden bowls by local artisans, lotions, and lots and lots and lots of wood carvings. The next shop is the Trading Post. Unfortunately, they ban cameras, so I couldn't take any videos inside the Trading Post. It was all local artist work, and the sign said that they were afraid of putting videos up because people would copy their artwork. Up ahead is the first of two restaurants in this area, King Salmon and Grizzly Burger. King Salmon is the upscale restaurant, which obviously focuses on fish and salmon, and Grizzly Burger is basically a burger restaurant. Just so you know, the king salmon is virtually impossible to get a reservation for unless you're staying at the Wilderness Lodge for more than one night. By the time we arrived, and we only stayed for one night, the entire evening was already booked up. One thing that's really nice about this Wilderness Lodge is behind all the buildings along the river, there's quite a few overlooks, and some of them, actually most of them, are unbelievable in the views that they offer. Now we're walking behind the two restaurants that I just pointed out. Both of them have a deck in the back, although I believe that the deck is primarily used by the Grizzly Burger patrons. And you can, if it's a nice day, you can sit outside while eating your food. This is the walkway that will take you to the Caribu Ridge rooms or section of the resort. And just like everywhere else out back here, there's tons of overlooks of the river. The Caribu Ridge section is basically more of a hotel. Everyone is in the same building setup than the other parts of the Wilderness Lodge, where people stay in separate little buildings. And this main building, just like a regular hotel, has a lobby to it. If you walk through the lobby out to the back end, there is a deck with another amazing overlook of the river. All right, so now let's take a look at the two restaurants that Kat and I did eat at when we were here. The first one being Fannie Q's Saloon. We ate dinner at this restaurant the first night of our stay, and it's your typical Alaskan saloon with a pianist. Here's the menu, and for a starter, we had the jalapeno crab dip. And then for our main courses, Kat had the veggie bowl and I had the Alaskan rockfish. Yes, I know it's expensive, but it was worth every bite. For dessert, we had the bear paw pie. They had a nice selection of local beers and several different wines. And here is the food that we had. Our appetizer, which was amazing. The entrees as well, and I have to say the rockfish was outstanding. And our dessert. Can't forget the dessert. The next place we ate at was the pizza house that they have, which is the Lynx Creek Pizza. And there's also a pub in there. And they have a whole bunch of different pizzas. We had the Polychrome Pass Pizza, which was basically a veggie pizza. It was very good. We had a medium-sized pizza. After we ate lunch, which is what this was, we headed across the street to the shopping plaza that's over there. It's a whole bunch of stores that want to take advantage of the fact that there's a whole bunch of people wanting to spend money next door. And of course, the first place we went was the ice cream parlor, and we had wild blueberry ice cream and fireweed ice cream. So the darker one is the blueberry and the lighter one is the fireweed. Fireweed is an herb that grows all over Alaska. And across the street is the lodge. Now, before we go, I just wanted to take a second and talk about the negatives of our stay as opposed to just the positives. Every single person that we talked to that worked in this facility was amazing, with the exception of guest relations. We talked to them a few times, and every single time they were very, very, very rude to us. For example, when we arrived, we were told that our luggage would be in our room on arrival. And when we got there, our luggage wasn't there. Now, normally that wouldn't be a big deal, but we were going on an ATV excursion that night, and both of us were not dressed for that. So I called the front desk and said, I know we're probably still going to get it. I just want to check on our luggage. And she basically, the lady that answered the phone said, why would you assume that your luggage is going to be there? And I said, well, the Princess employee on the train told us our luggage would be in our room. And we were told that the people on the train, even though they work for Princess, didn't know what they were talking about. So I very politely said thank you and proceeded to hang up. Time went by, and we were about a half an hour from our excursion, and we still did not have our luggage. So I went to the actual guest relations desk, and I said, we booked an excursion with Princess, and we don't have our luggage. In a half an hour is when the excursion starts, and we can't go like this. It was raining out, it was cold, and both of us were in t-shirts. And their response to us was, "This isn't our problem." That's all she said. Not our problem. And I'm thinking, of course it's your problem, because you are the people that sold us the excursion, and it turns out you are the people that misplaced our luggage, and they didn't care. So we ended up getting our luggage probably 10 minutes before we got picked up for our excursion. So we frantically ran around putting our stuff on and went out to wait for our bus for the excursion. While we were waiting, there were a couple people out there that had been at the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge for 2 days, and they still didn't have their luggage. So it seems like it's a common theme that they lose your luggage when you're going to this place. It could have been a freak event for us, but just keep that in mind when you're traveling to the Denali Princess. And if I ever go here in the future, I will definitely bring a change of clothes in some sort of a carry-on as opposed to packing all my clothes in a suitcase. Well, that's our tour of the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. See you next time.